So the CARA Project is a collaboration among Clinic, AILA, Raíces, and American Immigration Council. It's a collaboration that ensued upon learning about the expansion of family detention. Last year, Artesia, New Mexico was used as a temporary facility to house indigent women and children fleeing violence from predominantly Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. We all cheered when Artesia closed down, but unfortunately we soon learned that a permanent facility in Dilley, Texas would soon open with a capacity of 2,400 people. So we got together as a collaboration to respond to this expansion and to provide pro bono services to the indigent women and children who unfortunately are in a desolate, faraway town of Dilley, located an hour and 15 minutes south of San Antonio, and therefore very far away from any access to legal resources. The CARA Pro Bono Project helps women and children. Most of these children are extremely young, ranging from infants to 12, 13, but by and large they are younger than 10, with mostly being 5 or 6. These are children who are celebrating their birthdays in detention conditions, situations where the women have to choose between using the funds that they have on their account to make a phone call to their family member in the United States, or to buy an ice cream cone for their child to celebrate the child's birthday. And for a lot of these women who are detained there with their children, they are detained for a long period of time, meaning that the children spend the majority of their lives, or a large part of their lives, in detained conditions. CARA Project operates on volunteers. Without volunteers, this project does not have a future. It cannot operate on a daily basis. We rely on volunteers to come on at least a weekly basis. They come on Sunday and stay until Friday night or Saturday morning. And they fly primarily to San Antonio, Texas. That is the closest city or site of civilization to Dilley, Texas. Dilley is an hour and 15 minutes south of San Antonio. On Sunday, after they arrive in Dilley, there is an orientation, and thereafter, on Monday morning, we are ready to hit the ground running. And Monday through Friday, it's in the facility with the women, interviewing them, sitting in on credible fear interviews, sitting in on reasonable fear interviews, helping to obtain reasonable fear interviews on a timely basis, helping to get information as to their case, and more importantly, trying to get the supporting documentation that would allow them to make a bond review request of the immigration judge if the Department of Homeland Security has set a bond that is too high for them to pay. So there's a lot of opportunity to work with the women, from interviewing them, sitting in on interviews that are conducted by an asylum officer, to representing them in front of the immigration judge, and really just the sight of a volunteer and somebody there wanting to help and wishing to help brings so much encouragement to the women in a situation that is really dire and unnecessary. If you are not an attorney, you can still volunteer at Dilley. We desperately need non-attorneys as well as attorneys. The highest level skill, or the best skill that we're looking for, are Spanish speakers, because Spanish speakers will allow us to communicate directly with the women and elicit the information that is really important for us to be able to advocate on their behalf, regardless of the procedural posture of their case. So yes, if you are not an attorney and you speak Spanish, we definitely need you, desperately need you, so we ask that you consider volunteering at Dilley. If you come to Dilley, you can expect to make a profound difference in the lives of women and children who would otherwise not have access to counsel. you would be able to get a bond lowered from $5,000 to the statutory minimum of $1,500 before the immigration judge. And that difference is the difference that the women seek so that they can actually pay the bond and be released. When I was in Dili, I got to see the women come out of the courtroom crying and screaming with happiness and hugging all of our volunteers because they finally obtained a bond amount that was feasible for them to pay, which meant that they had liberty. Today is June 11, 2015. As of today, there are almost 1,700 women detained in the Southern Texas Family Residential Center, which is the name for the detention center where the women and children are held in Dili, Texas. The capacity there is 2,400. We have not yet reached capacity, and our staff on the ground, Brian and Ellen, are working on very little sleep and doing everything that they can to provide the services that these women and children desperately need for their immigration cases. But this project cannot survive and persist without volunteers. Volunteers are the crux, they're the essence of the CARA Pro Bono project and of this model. So please come to Dili. Consider coming to Dili for a week's worth of your time to get invaluable experience and to put forth the real principles on which this country was founded.